Hello, this is KYC News. We have provided you with relevant and reliable information for the day. First and foremost, we wish him good health and heartfelt desire. Ranking of the world's fastest vehicles. The 1894 Benz Velo, which could reach a top speed of only 12 miles per hour, was the first mass-produced vehicle to be measured at a speed. Since then, there aren't many confirmed records. However, in or around 1950, the Jaguar XK120 achieved a production car speed record of 124.6 miles per hour, not to be confused with the tuned prototype that managed to hit 133 miles per hour. After this, conducting one's own top speed test for car periodicals turned become a fad. Even the legendary McLaren F1 was tested by Car and Driver, and in 2005, the Bugatti Veyron EB16.4 set the first official speed record that was confirmed by German inspection officials. Only a small number of vehicles have come close to breaking the record since the official challenge between manufacturers began at that same moment. The top 10 fastest cars in the world are covered on this list, which is arranged in order of speed. The McLaren Speedtail, one of the newest vehicles on our list, was unveiled in 2019 and is regarded as the iconic F1's spiritual successor. But the main reason for that is that it has a 3-seat configuration with the driver's seat in the middle. The Speedtail, in contrast to the other vehicles on this list, is a hybrid vehicle that combines an electric motor with a twin-turbo, 4.0-liter V8 gasoline engine. According to McLaren, the Speedtail can reach 250 miles per hour, making it the company's fastest vehicle to date. The British company has not, however, shown evidence that the Speedtail is actually capable of such speeds. The regular Veyron, the fourth Bugatti on our list, was the first mass-produced vehicle to achieve 250 miles per hour. And it did it in 2005 when it ended McLaren's illustrious record set in the F1 that year. On April 19, 2005, the Veyron, powered by an early 8.0-liter W16, reached a top speed of 253.8 miles per hour. Its record lasted for 2 years until being broken by the Super Sport model and subsequently by the Chiron, its replacement. The only Bugatti on our list with fewer than 1,000 horsepower is this one. The W16 engine that powered the first Veyron produces 987 horsepower and 922 pound-feet of torque. The Bugatti Veyron's record was momentarily broken by the Ultimate Aero, prior to the arrival of the Veyron Super Sport to retrieve it. SSC used a twin-turbo variant of the vehicle to set its record in 2007. Somewhere in West Richland, the Ultimate Aero reached a high speed of 256.1 miles per hour, and it kept that record until 2010. After numerous limited edition iterations, the Ultimate Aero was terminated in 2013. However, SSC is currently developing the Tuatara, a new competitor for the title of fastest production automobile in the world. SSC raised power to 1,300 horses at the end of manufacturing, but the record car had 1,183 horsepower and 1,094 pound-feet of torque. Additionally, a 6.9-liter engine was substituted for the original 6.3-liter V8. The Agera R isn't too far behind the Agera RS, which might be the fastest of its class. The iconic 5.0-liter V8 engine from the firm, with a maximum output of 1,124 horsepower and 885 pound-feet of torque, was installed in the 2011 to 2014 Agera R. A few production car records were set in 2011 by the Swedish company with this vehicle, but the Agera RS subsequently surpassed them. The Agera R reached a top speed of 260 miles per hour, which was almost as fast as the Bugatti Veyron Super Sport, while not breaking any records. By meeting this standard, it moves up to the 5th spot on our ranking and becomes the second Koenigsegg to crack the top 10. One of the 4 Bugattis that made our list was the basic Chiron. The quad-turbo W16 engine was carried over into the Chiron, which was unveiled in 2016 to replace the Veyron. However, output was increased to 1,479 horsepower and 1,180 pound-feet of torque. The Chiron's maximum speed is governed at 261 miles per hour, which is a little slower than the Veyron Super Sport. However, the Chiron Supersport tops the list with a speed of almost 300 miles per hour, so we know there is plenty of power available. Despite being 16 years old as of 2021, the Bugatti Veyron is still one of the quickest supercars ever produced. The Veyron's peak speed of 267.8 miles per hour actually places it in fourth place according to the record set by Bugatti in 2010. This standard was reached using a Veyron Supersport variant that was strengthened. To commemorate the occasion, Bugatti produced a limited run of 30 automobiles known as the World Record Edition. However, these cars are only capable of 258 miles per hour in order to protect the tires. The 8.0-liter W16 engine of the Supersport was also the Veyron's most potent model, producing 1,184 horsepower, 197 more than the standard model. 2011 saw the release of the Venom GT, which was produced up until 2017. Despite the apparent length of the run, only 13 cars were produced. The heavily modified Venom GT, which is based on the Lotus Exige, has a twin-turbo, 7.0-liter V8 engine under the hood. The engine produces up to 1,244 horsepower and 1,155 pound-feet of torque and is based on General Motors' LS7 V8. In February 2014, the Venom GT reached its peak speed of 270.4 miles per hour on the shuttle landing strip at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Despite exceeding the world record at the time, Hennessy's single-direction run prevented it from being entered into the Guinness Book of Records. Additionally, the 13-car production run restriction was against Guinness Book of World Records. When Koenigsegg reached an average speed of 277.9 miles per hour in November 2017, the Agera RS, the most potent model of the Agera, overtook it as the fastest automobile in the world. Although the record was broken in less than 2 years, the Agera RS still holds other records, including those for 0 to 200 miles per hour acceleration, 200 miles per hour braking, and 0 to 200 miles per hour and back to complete stop. Koenigsegg, unlike Bugatti, did not create a limited edition Agera RS to commemorate the record, but there were only 25 made overall. Top speed records frequently generate controversy, particularly when it comes to surpassing the 300 miles per hour barrier, which was formerly a mystic and outright impossibility. The SSC Tuatara allegedly reached a top speed of 331 miles per hour in October of 2020, making it by far the fastest car in the world at the time. Within hours, individuals had begun pointing out inconsistencies in the films, and sure enough, what would have been a record-breaking performance was just impossible to verify. SSC made a second attempt to demonstrate that the SSC Tuatara is the world's fastest vehicle. The Koenigsegg Agera RS was knocked out of second place and the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus became the world's fastest car as a result of that second effort, which sadly wasn't as successful as the first. Although there have been many disputes in the past regarding the SSC Tuatara's top speed, it appears that we have finally reached a resolution. The company made the decision to put all doubts to rest by attempting one final run. Although it isn't a run of 316 miles per hour or even over 300 miles per hour, for that matter, it is unquestionably an improvement over the 282.6 miles per hour. The Tuatara reached 295 miles per hour, breaking its own record and moving up to third place on this list of the world's fastest automobiles. With a top speed of about 261 miles per hour, the ordinary Bugatti Chiron is already one of the fastest vehicles in the world. However, the French company wanted to break the existing record, so it developed a vehicle that was even more powerful. The Centodieciese engine was modified by Bugatti to have 1,578 horsepower, 99 more than the Chiron's regular rating, longer gear ratios in the transmission, and a reworked aerodynamic package that lengthens the car by approximately 10 inches. On August 2, the modified vehicle reached a top speed of 304.7 miles per hour. To commemorate the occasion, Bugatti is producing the Chiron Supersport 300 Plus, a production version based on the prototype. There are only 30 of these cars in existence, which is enough for the Guinness Book of Records to certify the speed record. Hennessy is known for its wild builds, so the Texas-based tuner wanted to try his hand at building a vehicle from the ground up. In 2011, it introduced the Venom GT, which was produced until 2017 but of which only 17 were made. However, it wasn't until 2016 that we learned Hennessy was developing a model to replace the GT that would be even better. In all honesty, the replacement wasn't a letdown. The supercar, known as the Venom F5, had a brand new V8 engine that produced over 1,800 horsepower and nearly 1,200 pound-feet of torque. A 7-speed automatic was used to transfer all of the power to the rear wheels. The tuner automaker boasts that the Venom F5 has a top speed of 311 miles per hour and can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. Every run has seen improvement, with the most recent one at NASA's runway in Florida reaching 271.6 miles per hour. We won't rule it out just yet, either, as Hennessy still has work to do to accomplish its 311 miles per hour objective. Do you anticipate the Hennessy Venom F5 will surpass the 311 miles per hour mark? When you thought the Jesko was the Swedish automaker's pinnacle creation, it decided to create a hyper version of the supercar with the suffix Absolute. In order to make the Jesko Absolute unbelievably fast, the manufacturer worked on its aerodynamics and high-speed road characteristics before it was unveiled in 2020. Due to modifications including an enlarged rear hood, covered rear wheels, and a lowered suspension, it sports a drag coefficient of just 0.278. While the front hood air ducts are likewise closed, it is missing the enormous rear wings and the front wheel louvers. The $2.8 million, 1,600 horsepower Absolute Jesko has a top speed of 330 miles per hour. This is a theoretical top speed, and the car hasn't actually reached it yet, it should be mentioned. Since the first prototype was taken out of the oven in May 2022, we may presumably expect to see it in the open soon. All things considered, if this ends up being another Tuatara-style disaster, we will undoubtedly be dissatisfied. However, for the time being, we'll accept Koenigsegg's claim that it is the world's fastest car.